record on this. There we go. Recording is in progress. All right. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to have a really insightful conversation between our board member, Yasmin Ibrahim, and Melissa Norden about what Bottomless Closet has been doing in the last 12 months to help women on their journeys back to the workforce. And first of all, I want to introduce Melissa and Yasmin, who most of you already know, but I'd like to do their introductions anyway. Melissa is celebrating 7 years with Bottomless Closet this month, and has provided direction to Bottomless Closet through many, many challenges, including a pandemic and a move last year. And some would argue that the move was even as much of a challenge as the pandemic was. Melissa spent the bulk of her career as General Counsel and Chief of Staff at the ASPCA. And one of Melissa's core strengths is that nobody can say no to Melissa, which was one of the reasons that we have Yasmin here, being our moderator and interviewer for the third time on this town hall. So quick little intro on Yasmin. Yasmin's one of our board members who joined during the pandemic, which is amazing. And we have a few board members who did that, and some of them others are on this call as well. She's developed a strong interest on the program side of Bottomless Closet, and she currently chairs the program committee. And Yasmin is passionate about female professional advancement and leverages her professional background in entrepreneurship and strategy to advise female-founded startups, helping them to grow their own business. So she's very well placed to not only lead our program committee, but also lead this conversation today. So without further ado, I am going to hand it over to Yasmin and Melissa. For anyone who has questions, please put them in the chat, and I'll be collating the questions at the end to put to Melissa and to Yasmin. So please know that even if they're not answered through the course of the conversation, that we will have a Q&A at the end. So with that said, I am going to unpin myself, and Melissa and Yasmin are already pinned, and we'll take it from there. Thanks.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Yvonne, for the introduction. Yvonne, can you hear us well before I get started?
Yep, hear you loud and clear. Thanks for checking.
Fantastic. All right, welcome everyone. So glad to see you all on Zoom. I am especially excited today because Melissa and I get to be in the same room finally to do this. It's the third time around, but first time in the same room, which is fantastic. We're also here at Bottomless Closet's beautiful new location, so maybe that's a great place to get us started. Melissa, can you tell us a little bit about the clients, the women that we serve in this location?
Sure, great to see you here again, Yasmin. Happy Women's History Month. March is a busy month here. As I think most people on the call know, we've been serving the same population for almost 24 years. We serve women in need across New York City, across all 5 boroughs. The clients that we serve are 83% women of color, 57% of them are mothers, the majority of them are single moms, 40% are living in the shelter system. And if we look at their education background, the majority have a high school diploma or equivalent, and about 6% have no formal education at all. The pandemic really did not change the demographics of our clients all that much, quite frankly.
It's fascinating to me, kind of the breakdown. But as Yvonne mentioned, I joined as a board member during COVID, so I didn't get to see the old space. So can you tell us a little bit about how this new space is helping serve clients even better than we were able to?
Yeah, absolutely. We're super excited to be at 34th Street. We're right across the street from the Empire State Building now, in the middle of New York, right where we should be. A very accessible location for many to come to. It's a very different space than our old space. It's very bright, it's very welcoming. It's convenient for our clients and our volunteers to get here. And it really gives us opportunities we didn't have in the other space. We are building up at the right time as client demand is building up, but also with the larger space, it gives us opportunities to try new things. And one of those things we tried just this past year in September was our first career fair. So in the space we're actually sitting in today, we had the career fair back in September, and we had 63 clients come.
That's amazing.
And we had representatives from Foot Locker, Wells Fargo, Starbucks, Con Edison, and Visiting Nurse Service. And we're actually planning for another career fair in April. So we're going to do it again because it was so successful. And this space is really meant to be a very versatile space for lots of different things. Even though our clients are doing workshops still online and they do like that, we will have the opportunity to serve clients with workshops here in the future as well. And again, we've seen a nice trend in client numbers coming up, and we want that to continue. And this space gives us opportunities to serve even more women.
I think that's fantastic. I mean, I love the space. As you said, the location is incredibly convenient. And also there's just so much room to do a variety of different things. So I think it's fantastic. So Melissa, when you and I spoke last March and did the donor town hall, we talked a lot about the pandemic and the issues that related to the pandemic, right? So is the pandemic and the challenges associated a thing of the past? Are we done?
I wish. The challenges remain for everybody, right? But I think what I wouldn't fully understand unless I was in this role are the unique challenges that our clients have had and continue to have. We know back in March of 2020, already 70% of our clients had lost their jobs. So this is definitely about job losses, but it's about so much more. Those same women lost their family members. They had to educate their children even when they had no education themselves. They had prolonged periods of unemployment. The sectors where they worked in the most were the ones that had the greatest impact from job loss. And there was a lot of social isolation. And so you take that all together and there's a chronic crisis of confidence, and it's going to take time to build that back. And we're all about building women up. But that confidence based on all those factors impacting it was really took a hit. And we're going to work together to get them out of it. And certainly as an organization, it's been a challenging time to be a leader, having to make a lot of tough decisions, things about what vaccine requirements are required at certain times, and what rules we should have, what kind of protections, and certainly the safety of everybody here is of paramount importance. But we want to remove any barriers to employment, any barriers to our services. So it's constantly trying to balance those things. Plus, we've created this great hybrid offering of programs. And many of our clients are participating not just in person, but virtually as well. And some have chosen to just be virtual. And we want to keep that up because it's really been a benefit to our clients. But that takes extra resources on an already taxed staff. So we're constantly doing a balancing act like everybody else and constantly evolving like everybody else, but it's a challenging time for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no doubt in my mind that there's demand for the services that we're providing here at Bottomless Closet, but are we back to pre-pandemic levels?
Yeah, so certainly everybody's heard in the media about how women's participation in the workforce is going up. And our numbers reflect that. We've had a 50% increase from 2021 to 2022 in our pre-interview and post-hire appointments, for sure. But at the same time, most of those growth in job numbers have been for college-educated women, which the majority of our clients are not. And we've actually seen a decrease in the number of jobs for uneducated women. So those numbers don't tell the full story when you hear them in the news.
Right. So different, obviously the pandemic impact on different segments is very pronounced. We can see the difference. So let's shift a little bit away from pandemic now and talk a little more about impact, which is something that myself and I'm sure many people on the call are interested in hearing more about. Can you tell us how the contributions, whether they're coming from individuals or foundations or companies, how they made a difference in this past year in 2022?
Yeah, well, I mean, just even the whole pandemic, without the support of our donor community, we wouldn't be here today.
Right.
And that's individuals, corporations, foundations, our whole community, not to mention our staff and our volunteers, right? And our board and, the whole community got us here today. And that's been no easy feat. So I don't want to discount that in any way. We've got a staff of 8. We've got now up to about 100 volunteers again, which is terrific. We served over 1,000 women last year, which was great. Actually, 1,056. Every single one counts. We had about 1,500 workshop participants, but the numbers don't tell the whole story. Every client, it's very important to me and to our team that we don't treat anybody here like a number. We're all about building confidence, like I said earlier. So, that story of the client who comes to the Bronx, we have a story of a client who came from Ukraine this year, actually. Which is pretty cool. But each one, has their own story and their own journey. And we're trying to change lives here. and not just the lives of the women we serve, but as I said, for the majority who are mothers, change the lives of a family. And so it's really important work. At the same time, we moved, as Yvonne mentioned, right? And we built out this space to have it be a warm and inviting space. We launched a digital skills program because we knew that was a gap that our clients had in the pandemic with our Technology for Life programming. And we started to build a computer lab in the space that we're in right now. So that would not have been possible without the support of our entire community. Really, it took so many people, and obviously can't thank everybody here today, but a lot of people who gave a lot of time and resources and donations. So very grateful to be here today.
We are certainly grateful to all the support. And I think you touched on the computer lab, which I want to ask you about. So the heart of the organization is the programming that we provide, right? The Bottomless Closet provides to the clients, right? Whether it's getting them ready for the job, getting them ready in all different ways. So what do you see as changes happening this year on the program front that are really going to help, propel them forward? Right.
So, we're trying to build on the foundation we set in 2022. Yeah. It was still a year of COVID ups and downs, right? And following that. And we're finally seeing, the trend of clients continuing to come in our doors. And that's really continued into the first couple of months of 2023. So January, February, and the beginning of March, we've seen a nice uptick in clients. Yeah. Not a huge surge, but it's a continual uptick, which we haven't seen in a very long time. Yeah. And we've had client days that rival March of 2020, in early March of 2020. So it's really nice to see for the first time. But we had clients who were participating remotely during this time, and they worked together with volunteers in a virtual environment to build their resumes together. Yeah. Pre-pandemic, we had volunteers and staff really working a lot directly on the resumes. And we want to give our clients the opportunity to be more invested in their resumes. And they did that in the virtual environment, and they took ownership of their resumes. And we know that a resume is a breathing document that's going to evolve and be built on. And we wanted our clients to feel empowered and own that document, and feel confident about what's in that document. So with this computer lab, they'll be able to do that in real time in a supported environment here with a volunteer working through it with them. They'll be able to job search on a computer instead of on a phone. And they'll be able to take, some of the digital workshops we're offering on computers when they don't have them. I can't emphasize enough what it is to apply for jobs and job search and do your resume on your phone with that being their only option. It's an intimidating enough system where you're trying to apply to a new company through their big, confusing system now online, but to do it on a phone, it can be more challenging, and that's the only resource.
Yeah, I love the idea of the computer lab, and I love the concept of, it's providing the tools and really trying to assist, but also empowering the women to be able to do this for themselves as they continue to grow in their own careers beyond. So I'd like to pivot now to the organization. So let's talk about Bottomless Closet as an organization. When you think about this past year, what are some of the big challenges that face the organization?
Right, so obviously clients top of mind, we discussed the client challenges.
Yeah.
We had fundraising challenges. We had the highest inflation in 50 years. The stock market has 34th Street. We've got some. We know that we're in the heart of the city now. So we've had really high inflation. The stock market has been the worst it's been since 2008. We've had a war in Europe. And we had all these COVID surges that impacted things, including right in the day of our luncheon, right? So that certainly impacted things. And so, but despite all that, we did meet and actually exceed our budget, which took a lot of work. We had to rebuild a lot of relationships that were scaled back due to resources at companies that were depressed because of the pandemic. And we built a lot of new relationships. And it's great to actually have this opportunity on Zoom because we built a lot of relationships outside the New York area, and people have become very invested in our community and part of our community. And we want them to be able to participate in activities like this. And the luncheon ended up being a success revenue-wise, even though we had a COVID surge the day of the luncheon and we lost some people, but planning ahead and creating a hybrid event really mitigated that risk. So we were very fortunate.
So it looks like the plan this year is for it to be a hybrid event again. Can you tell us a little bit why you chose to make it a hybrid event again?
Yes. As I said, last year was really a success in the hybrid environment. It allowed us to open it up to all of our clients. Yeah. We do have a number of clients in the room, but not everybody can be in the room. And so we want to increase the room, right? And so give our clients an opportunity to come in from wherever they are. We develop great corporate partnerships outside of New York, outside of this country. Actually, we have partners in Uruguay, right? So we give every opportunity to participate in the hybrid way. And so that's really great. But we are hoping many people will be in the room again this year. And our theme this year is Endless Possibilities, Unstoppable Potential, which I'm really excited about. And that's, I think, coming out of this time, how we're all feeling and wanting to see this event and see our clients' journey for themselves. And so it's going to be a really uplifting day. We're at Cipriani again, where we've been for several years.
Very
It's
exciting.
on May 17th. We have a great slate of honorees. Our first honoree is JP Morgan Chase. Our second honoree is Cecilia Nelson Hurt, who is the Chief Diversity Officer at Heidrick & Struggles, an executive search firm. Our third honoree is Lisa Bernstein, who's the Chief Administrative Officer at Sage Shore, and our Volunteer of the Year, who's Roy Conforte. And a new addition this year is actually Monica Morales, who is a reporter from Pix 11. Many people remember that Lori Stokes has been our moderator for a number of years, but she's retired. So Monica's done a couple of stories on us, and she's excited to take over for Lori. So it should be a fun day. So many people can attend.
I mean, the lineup sounds amazing. I'm excited. This is the first one I'll be able to attend in person, so I'm incredibly excited to be there. So for our amazing donors, some of whom are on the call or listening in, what would you say to them, as they continue to support Bottomless Closet in terms of, there's inevitable demand on resources because of many, many wonderful causes out there, give us your pitch. Like, why should we make a donation to Bottomless Closet?
So first of all, thank you to everybody on the call and everybody out there in general who's hearing this. As I said, we couldn't do this without our community, and we are certainly aware of all the deserving causes that are out there, and the crisis-driven need because of some things I mentioned, like the war, the Dobbs decision, so many things that are out there. But once you move out of the space of immediate need, we need to think about how to help people change their lives and help them build a future and their family's future. And a contribution to Bottomless Closet does just that. And whether you can give $10 or $10,000, it's an investment. It's a way to create a pathway for a woman in need to create a new future for herself and for our family. And it's an important investment because we want to see long-term outcomes. It's very easy to respond to an immediate crisis, but it doesn't solve the long-term challenges that often ended up being in a crisis. And so we want to prevent that for the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so we're crystal clear, when I'm making a donation to Bottomless Closet, what is that money going to fund? What is my donation funding exactly?
So the donation is going to help a woman in need get all the services she needs to get ready for her job interview and thrive. And that covers coaching, resume review, outfitting her for her job interview and her entry into the workforce, and our supportive series of workshops, which for those who are not familiar, cover a whole bunch of things. Financial management, professional development, wellness programming, and the digital literacy programming that I mentioned before. And these workshops are free. These services are free to anyone. Once you come in our door for the first time, you're a Bottomless Closet client for life. And whether you need us once or you need us over many years, we're there for you. I think really one cool stat that came out of our most recent survey is that 78% of our clients who were working had accessed these programs. So we know they are really making a difference in helping these women get jobs.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think, before I appreciate the overview and the deep dive into what we're doing and how we're doing it. Before we move to Q&A, because I'd like to give an opportunity to everyone on the call to ask questions. If there's only one thing you really like to, participants today on the call to take away from this, what would that be?
Our community, as I mentioned earlier, is everything. And they often are such great ambassadors for our cause. Everybody out there today can just share what they've learned today about Bottomless Closet, why they volunteer with Bottomless Closet, why they donate to Bottomless Closet, whether they can tell one individual in person, whether they can share it in their social media. We're constantly posting in Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and you can share those posts and tell why you're supporting the organization. That would be fantastic in spreading our word. And I think the one takeaway from today that I want everybody to share with everybody is actually a quote that I wrote down from a client that came in recently named Brittany. And she said, no matter what people tell you, follow your vision It only fails when you stop believing. And I think it goes back to beyond the programs we provide for our clients, we help women believe in themselves.
Yeah.
And that's everything. And confidence makes you unstoppable.
Could not agree more. I think that's a perfect way to end and actually hand it over to Yvonne. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you.
Yvonne, I think I'll hand it back to you, and we'd love to take any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Yasmin and Melissa. That was really great insight. And even as somebody who knows a lot of this stuff, it's just, I think, really special just to hear it kind of unpacked like that. Right now, I haven't seen any comments or questions in the chat, so people please feel free to do that, or if you want to raise your hand is another way to do that under the reactions, and I can then call on you. While we're kind of, people are digesting all they've heard and are getting their questions together, I actually have a question that maybe we can just kick off with. And Melissa, you mentioned unstoppable and creating a pathway for clients. I wonder, could you briefly speak to our plans for this year in terms of client alumni and how that model might also help clients develop a pathway for each other?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've really wanted to do since I got here 7 years ago is create a network of clients alumni, because as much as all the staff and volunteers here help the clients, I think that one of the things we learned during the pandemic is how strong the client community is and how much we see clients helping each other, and their experiences, sharing them, once they've kind of been further on the path to self-sufficiency, what they've learned and what they can share with other clients. So we're hoping to build up this network of clients helping clients and get it going this year.
That's great. Thanks, Melissa. And I know we're all super excited about that too. I had a question come through in the chat from somebody on the call about our volunteers. And the question is if we have enough volunteers right now to respond, to provide services for the number of clients we have. So maybe you could speak to that, and as well as some of the outreach we're doing to new volunteers as well might be of interest.
Absolutely. The answer is we have enough volunteers, but we always need more, right? So we have an amazing volunteer population. And obviously there have been a lot of changes in people's lives during the pandemic. Many people did move away. They've had other changes in their lives. And so I'm happy that our volunteer numbers are back over 100 as recently. But we also have a demand for bilingual volunteers. We actually brought a couple of new volunteers on recently who are bilingual, which is fantastic. But we're always looking to grow our volunteer base, and the more people, the better, who bring different experiences to the table that they can share with clients. So we're good, but we also want to be better.
Absolutely. I think that's always so important for us at Bottomless Closet, striving to be better and to move forward. As it says in the background behind you both, you are going places. And I think that, speaks for our clients and hopefully us as an organization as well. I'm looking in the chat. I don't see any other questions right now. So let's just give it a moment, because maybe people
has their hand raised.
Oh,
Robert?
okay, great. Oh, thank you, Yasmin. I hadn't seen that. Robert, yeah, would you like to come in and ask a question?
Actually, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Yvonne. Good afternoon, Melissa. Good afternoon, the entire team. My name is Robert Bullock. I'm from Ponce Bank. Here with my colleague, Wanda Matos, who couldn't make it this afternoon. But we want to just say to salute you all in the work that you're doing. We had the opportunity to start the partnership last year with you all, and the work that you're doing is really so needed in the community. And I just want to applaud you, and with all the challenges you were sharing earlier, how you persevered through that, and you're continuing doing the work that you're doing. And I just want to encourage you in that and say we are excited to partner with you, and we'll continue to be with you guys in the efforts that you're doing. So I just want to salute you in that.
Oh, thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Nice to see you again. Robert's one of those people that I met in the pandemic, but over Zoom, right? And he's developing friends all over the city and all around the world. So nice to see you, and thank you so much for your comment.
Same here.
We appreciate your support.
Thanks, Robert, and thanks to you and all of Ponce for your support. And we're looking forward to seeing you in real life at the luncheon as well. So that's going to be fun. That'll be great. I have another question here in the chat from Christine Chang. Again, it's a volunteer related question, and it's about asking if there's an age minimum for volunteers. And very excitingly, Louise Kleinberg's granddaughter wants to volunteer. And maybe Melissa, you could speak to who Louise Kleinberg is for anybody on the call who's not familiar with the amazing contribution Louise made.
Sure. So we try to have volunteers 18 and up. We do have certain exceptions for certain offsite projects. And Louise Kleinberg, actually our Volunteer of the Year Award is named after Louise. Louise was a long-term volunteer who unfortunately I never got the chance to meet. She's passed away. And our Volunteer of the Year Award is named after her. And every year we celebrate a volunteer who honors Louise's spirit of giving and volunteerism. And we're unfortunately is getting it this year.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's always such an important part of the luncheon event. And just another comment from Christine that her grandmother's plaque is sitting in her room and she wants to do it with her class. So that's special. And I know Pam, who's on the call as well, does a great job in organizing group volunteering activities for people of all different ages and groups and all that kind of stuff. So that sounds like a conversation worth continuing on. Okay, we do have, how are we doing for time? We're just at 12:30, but we probably have time for one or two other questions. If anyone else has any questions, you can raise your hand. You can unmute yourself. You can put it in the chat. We're very open to how the questions come in. And if not, that's okay too, because I know we have covered a lot already in the conversation that Yasmin and Melissa had. I guess maybe let me just throw out one other question as well. Just in terms, Melissa, of clothing donations, I think it might be worth just reminding people, because we had a sort of more restricted policy when, during the pandemic. Maybe we could just remind people, when we're open now to take clothing donations, what we need, clothing drives, all that kind of stuff. I think it's always good for people to know about the details of this stuff, especially as more and more, people are getting back together in person at work.
Sure. I think people got really great at shipping their donations during the pandemic, and that's continued. So you can always ship your clothing to us. We're really looking for anything that can be pieced together for a career appropriate outfit. Black pants are a staple here, so don't think you have to have a perfect suit to donate to us, because we'll probably use the blazer on one person and the pants on another person anyway, just that's the way it works. So anything career appropriate. I can't forget purses and shoes, which we never get enough of. And they can be shipped to us, through UPS, FedEx, USPS. But also if you want to drop off in person at our new location, 1 West 34th Street, we're on the 5th floor. And we're open for donation drop off Tuesday through Thursday, 9 to 5. A lot of companies had put their corporate clothing drives on hold because of the pandemic. And we also know that only half the number of city office workers are back in the office. So those corporate clothing drives aren't yielding as much as they used to. So we're certainly open to more folks doing those kinds of drives and increasing the number of items that they want to send us. I can also make a plug for the fact that we have an Amazon wish list. If you're not sure if you have something in your wardrobe that's appropriate, that's an option. But I can promise that anything you donate to us will be used to support a woman in need, and it's very much appreciated. And it's great feeling to see something you brought in that morning leave on someone who is going to our job interview that afternoon. And it makes the clients feel really good to have that clothing.
Thank you so much, Melissa. And yeah, one of my favorite things about our new space is that my desk is much nearer the boutique. So I get to hear those conversations that our clients are having with volunteers all the time. And it's just really amazing, I think, you can really hear the difference it's making to people. And yeah, we're right opposite the Empire State Building now. You cannot miss us. So, you know, we encourage anyone to stop by and see the space as well. All right, so unless we have other questions, we might just wrap it there. We've been recording this, so we are going to have it available. So if you have friends or colleagues or other contacts who you think might be interested, we'll be sending it out via email. So please, in the spirit of what Melissa said, feel free to share broadly. As a small organization, we really rely on our very loyal network and like what we like to call the Bottomless Closet family, getting the word out there for us. So again, thank you so much, Yasmin, today for being our hostess again. And thank you, Melissa, for your time. No, it's always so good to just spend time with you. And now that, even though I appear like I'm in another location, I'm actually at the office. So it'll be nice to be actually able to walk down and see you. So thanks everybody for being here, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.